break down one of the charges for us. He is being charged with second-degree murder, which really stuck out to me because if he has the manifesto, if he seemingly had a plan, how is this not premeditated? Why is he being slapped with a second-degree murder charge?
Well, premeditation is not really the state of mind that's considered in homicide anymore. It's purposeful, knowing, reckless, or negligent. And premeditation has sort of been condensed into purposeful killings, purposeful homicides. The reason that that's better is because premeditation created a problem in that how are we supposed to know how it was premeditated? How long? What is premeditation? 2 days, 3 days, 2 hours? Thus, the law has been modified in most states to deem a purposeful homicide is murder. That's where you go up to somebody. You could never have thought about it until the moment you saw somebody and you saw them and said, I don't like the way he's dressed. I'm going to kill him. That suffices. You don't need to have a plan. But going back to the murder in the second degree, what's interesting here is that murder in the first degree, a more serious charge, is usually reserved to people that kill police officers and such, or departments of corrections people, or your second murder. But there is a provision in New York state law that allows for what would be a second degree murder to be elevated to a first degree murder if it's done with an act of terrorism in mind. Terrorism being influencing the government improperly or intimidating the civilian population. So arguably, and this will be for DA Bragg and others to contemplate whether it could be elevated into first degree is a matter for them to consider seriously. And another part of the first degree issue is that this extreme emotional disturbance that we were talking about, that applies to second degree murder, right? It's an affirmative defense to second degree murder. It's like, yes, I was crazy, I was out of my mind, I was emotionally distraught, yada, yada, yada. But it does not apply to first degree murders. So that would really impair his defense.
That is a really interesting point. And do you think this could be elevated to first degree murder? Because you said he's either stupid or he was plotting more murders, because why else would you be carrying that gun around?
Yeah, well, it depends on the evidence that's there. I mean, you'd have to look at the writings that he was caught with. You have to look at his social media postings and so forth. If there could be deduced reasonably from them an intent to change policy, public policy viciously via vicious and fatal means, or to intimidate the civilian population, that is, intimidate insurance executives from having policies, internal policies where they deny so many health claims. Arguably could be deep, but a good mental exercise is if you think about the 9/11 and the World Trade Center bombings, which did intimidate the civilian population, which was intended to change government policy from being aggressive in certain areas of the world, and you compare it to this. Now, was this part of a larger plan? I'm going to just go kill a dozen health insurance executives. My next stop, is Aetna or whatever. But so we don't know, but it could be there, no doubt. And it has served to intimidate people, right? I mean, think about it. Are you going to be more or less likely to deny a claim? I mean, are you in fear? Now, these things. So these are definitely issues. They're factual issues. They need to be considered. And DA Bragg and his team, I'm sure, will go through them assiduously.